I know for a fact that Gabby's is not coming back.
Sure, people in Penticton would love for deer hunters to come out there.
Yeah, but you can't shoot them in the town.
I know, but it's
and
really
apparently
funny.
it's like
everyone hates deer in Penticton. I've never known for people to hate deer so much until I went to that town.
I would say I think of the Roman Empire every day.
That's crazy. Reminders every day.
Yep.
What's your Roman Empire?
I don't know. Like something you think about every day?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Work? Saying, there's a trend with murder docs, and for some reason, women love to listen.
Yeah, well, it's the irony, of course, that we've created the safest society women have ever known, and yet they're obsessed with murder.
That's hilarious.
It is.
True.
Yeah. There's sort of like I think it was Jordan Peterson or somebody was talking about if you like suppress one thing in nature, it like pops up somewhere else. Apaches.
I recognize that.
No, the 𝐄𝐦𝐚𝐢𝐥. They were cannibals, and they hated the Comanches, so that when they killed Comanches, they would eat parts of them.
Welcome. This is live from Langley BC, the #1 podcast in Langley, where we talk to local residents and business owners about local events and businesses. Today we have the OG of this podcast because he was behind the scenes this whole time, and he has the same name as me, so that makes him pretty cool. This is Dan from Speakeasy Podcasts. He runs this whole thing. He's the man behind the cam.
That should be your slogan.
Oh, that's good.
The man behind the cam?
Yeah.
I just made that up. That works. I mean, I usually use like Dan the man when I say like, hey, I'm Dan the man.
Yeah, I've had every variation of Dan, Dan the man, Dan on the can, Dan man, Dan whatever. Yeah, Dan on the can was a good one. I like
Dan on the can.
I used to have issues, so it made sense.
That's fine. And then, we're here. I'm Daniel. I was going to say Dan. Okay, I'm Dan today too. Okay, Dan, local Langley realtor, and Megan.
From the local space.
From the local space. So, thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about a few things and also about the podcast, right? In the podcast room and where we shoot this thing, which I am so grateful for because without this location, we wouldn't have been able to launch this idea. So thanks for making, was this your idea?
No, it wasn't my idea, but I quickly made it my idea.
Yeah, it's in your background, right?
Yeah, I used to host a podcast years ago. It was just started as a hobby, and I was in Australia, but my two co-hosts were in Canada and then Mexico. So we just did a Zoom call at the time and chatted, and everybody recorded their own, and then they would send them to me, and I'd put them together, and it would sound like we're in the same room. So I've been in video production and film production for 10 plus years.
When was the podcast though? That was like Joe Rogan days.
The podcast was 2018 to 2020, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't that long ago?
Not too long ago.
Do you have is this what you do full time?
This is what I do full time now. Yeah, I just finished. I was video editing professionally for the last, 7 years or something like that. So took over the space and Speakeasy Podcasts.
That's sweet. Yeah. So, but how did this even come to? Because I think like recently, podcasts started to pop up everywhere. Everyone has a podcast, right? You could be talking about cats, murder, I don't know.
Cat murderers.
Cat murderers.
Yeah.
Literally anything you could talk about, people have a podcast for now, even Langley. So did you see that trend when you were starting to do things?
What, like in 2018? Yeah, it was like, so it was part of a creative project that I started. I was doing a master's degree at the time, and one of the things was a creative project. It didn't really have any requirements other than like had to be creative. So I'd been listening to podcasts exclusively since like 2013. I don't listen to music. I just like information. So it just kind of made sense, and I thought it'd be fun get my buddies together and talk about movies, because I've been in film production pretty much my whole life. I started with a video camera when I was 12 years old, picked it up, and then kind of away from there. Did film school and all that stuff. So when the podcast came about, it was just, let's just have fun. Let's just chat. And because I was living in Australia at the time, it gave me a good excuse to keep in touch with my friends. So And then when I started here, it was a year and a half ago, and the people in the building, Westland Group and Agency Media, they had this space and it was vacant. And then they decided to put a podcast studio in. And because of my experience with production and podcasting, I kind of became the de facto tech. And then slowly I was taking on all the podcasting, and I started doing the editing for them on the side. And earlier this year, I just said, like, I'd kind of like to own something. I'm tired of being an employee, so let's give this a go. So I officially own the studio.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's like literally doing what you love or what you're good at for a living.
Yeah, like, video editing is fun and all, but you don't get any kind of client interaction. I literally sit in a closet all day and edit. And I can be somewhat antisocial at times, but I also appreciate social interaction. So when I was doing the podcast, I found I liked listening to everybody who came in. Didn't, if it was murder or cat murders or whatever, I still enjoyed the information. And then, client interaction is fun too. So yeah.
What's the weirdest podcast you've had to help record?
Nothing like crazy,
There's some crazy people in Langley recording
I'm
things.
sure there are. I don't know if they have.
I don't think he wants to call his clients crazy though. Or
I get a lot of
weird.
realtors. A lot of realtors come in and they want to
those
but Dan does something different where he talks to businesses. They just want to talk about real estate. So that's fine. That's great. They use it for promoting their own content and getting their name out there. But I haven't had anything like bizarre, like uncomfortable. The Murder with My Mother podcast shoots here. So there's a lot of graphic stuff that they talk about.
Murder with My Mother.
Yeah.
So what is that?
Well, it's a mother-daughter team, and they were actually, I think they were the first people to rent the space about a year and a half ago. And they come in every once in a while. They're doing pretty good, actually. They're in over 50 episodes now. They're at, I don't know, what is it, some Comic-Con for podcasts down in Florida earlier this year. So yeah. But yeah, they talk about all sorts of murders, usually Vancouver-based stuff. Cold cases, they'll go through them and talk about them.
That's such a... Do you listen to that?
No, I don't listen. I watch like all those
yeah.
documentaries and that
Do you
sort
watch
of stuff.
Do you watch them online?
I don't watch any of that stuff.
Okay.
I always find
I see a trend.
Yes.
There's a trend with murder docs, and for
Yeah.
some reason, women love to listen.
Yeah, well, it's the irony, of course, that we've created the safest society women have ever known, and yet they're obsessed with murder.
That's hilarious.
It is.
True.
Yeah. There's sort of like I think it was Jordan Peterson or somebody was talking about if you like suppress one thing in nature, it like pops up somewhere else. So it's like all they do is fantasize that they're going to get killed, when in reality, it's like probably
I don't
not.
think I'm fantasizing I'm going to get killed, but I just find it interesting to learn about these murders or like things
Don't find
that
it too interesting.
don't get solved.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I
Yeah.
mean, I think if you really wanted to get interesting and probably canceled, you delve into why they're not getting solved,
Yeah.
police and government corruption and whatnot.
Mhm.
But, yeah.
But yeah, no, I find it too. My fiance, that's what she wants to watch before bed. I'm like, that's not.
That's
something-
yeah.
I can't. Sure, it's interesting, but then something happens where it's just like super gruesome, and I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go to sleep with like that image in my head.
Yeah, I never watched them, but I caught one of them years ago. I think it was like CSI New York or something like that.
Well, that's not
That's not
real.
Well, I mean,
that's like a TV like
No,
sitcom, isn't it? It's not like a
I don't think it's a
documentary.
sitcom.
Well,
It's
I don't know,
it's
but
a
it's
drama.
like, yeah,
But this was like, I'm talking 10, 12 years ago when this was all kind of taken off.
Right. That is where
But
it took
the
off.
murder, it was like they had crucified somebody in a church. I was like, all right, like, how often is this really happening? But there's
They showed the guy, and then I'm sure they'd show that a little bit more, dramatized than like what's it called? Like in a documentary that it actually happened in.
I like to then creep those people on Instagram to see what they're doing in
Yeah,
their
you
real
part
life
of those
now.
Facebook groups.
I'm
too?
not in any Facebook groups,
Oh my
no. But I
gosh.
just like to creep with people on Instagram afterwards because they always say their real names eventually, and then I'm like, what are they doing now?
You're like, how's their life going? Like the
Something to
murderers
do.
or like the
Both
victims?
of them.
Oh my god! Or the victims
the
are
person who
dead.
got crucified.
That's some like reality TV stuff. That's the garbage television that I watch. Is before bed, if I'm gonna watch something to like numb the brain, is gonna be like reality TV. And then
Yeah, that's all I watch. Like every single reality TV shows on my PVR. It's bad.
I don't even have a TV.
that's
Oh.
good.
Yeah.
If I was by myself, I probably wouldn't either.
Yeah.
I think it's like the whole like family dynamic, and I'm like, I'll have a TV.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't need a TV. I only need cable for 2 channels. Like it's so silly.
Cable?
pay
You're paying
cable?
for cable?
Yeah, because I need TLC and Slice
You
to be
pay
able to
for
You can't
watch
stream that stuff?
Yeah,
No?
there should be. Everything has an app now, but it's probably like $20 a month.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure our cable's like $50 a month. Like it's not that
Yeah.
expensive.
But $600 a year, it adds up.
Yeah,
But it also saves me money from going out with my friends because I watch trash TV instead.
Well, I mean, we take our own experience, right?
The drama in house. Speaking of which, because I'm very heavy on podcasts. You said you were too. Are
Yeah.
you?
I've
Vic,
never listened
you
to
don't
a
listen to
podcast.
them?
Well, my husband
You-
listens to them, so sometimes I have to on the drive to the Okanagan. There will be one on.
We're getting somewhere here. My fiance likes podcasts too, but they're more towards like science. Like,
Mhm.
she listens to like unbiased science podcasts, but that's like way too much information. I think for me, I never was big in the sciences.
Okay, what was your seminal podcast? Like, what got you into? What was the first podcast you
Gary
listened to?
V.
Gary V.
Yeah,
like,
social media marketing. type of-
Vaynerchuk?
Yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk.
I didn't know he had a podcast. I
He was
follow him on
the
Instagram.
That was the like original guy who was
Mm.
pushing podcasts in like 2012, 2013.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, you need to have one, it's easy, just hit record. That's his thing. And like, talk about what you love talking about. Don't talk about your business. because everyone, has heard it. They want to connect with you. And then, if you like sports, talk about sports. If you sell something and you talk about whatever you love to talk about, they'll come to you because of that, not because of what you're selling, essentially. That's the theory.
Is it like soft selling, essentially?
It's just like
Creative
branding and like connecting more so.
Right.
That's his idea, right?
Yeah.
That's always how he kind of phrases it.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Yeah.
Still is my guy.
And you don't listen to any podcasts?
No, I've never even listened to this one.
Did you watch your Tipsy Tuesday things?
No, because they were live. So I didn't
You
watch them
still
back.
watch
No,
them.
my rule is you never watch something back because you're just going to like critique yourself or be embarrassed or whatever. Like once it's out
That's a
there in the
fair
world,
rule,
it's
yeah.
out there. Who cares?
That's confident because for me, I find that I'm learning about myself when I watch myself and like what I do. And now I can correct it. Like the first podcast I ever shot, I wouldn't shut up. Like the other person was talking, but I was like, yeah, uh-huh. And I'm like, wow, that's annoying.
Yeah, what do they call it? It's like active listening, right? But you're too active, not just like a nod. You're agreeing every time they say anything.
So when you take an Insta story or TikTok, how many takes does it usually take? Like, do you usually have to do it a couple times?
If I don't mess up, I'm gonna shoot it like or if I don't mess up, I'll shoot it once. But if I mess up, then I'm gonna have to restart. Then if I shoot it and I'm like, I don't like that, I'll probably do 2 more times.
I don't have time for that. Nope. Record, send, done.
For me, it's the filler words. I think that's what I've improved on heavily. But
Yeah, that's such a conscious effort, though.
oh yeah, to stop yourself from saying that.
Yeah, and then when you're learning that process, you feel like you're talking at a very slow pace.
Yeah, exactly. And
I
then
say a lot on my stories.
What about like?
Probably. It's more annoying because I add captions to all of mine. So
it says like. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I spent years cutting people's ums out.
AI does that now
I
in
know.
a click of a button.
It's great.
I love it. What did you listen to? What was your thing?
I think the first one I listened to was, what was it called? There was a history one. Stuff You Should Know. Stuff You Should Know, I think was the first one. Just sort of like random things. They kind of gave you the Wikipedia entry version of a lot of topics, but if it was really interesting, I'd look up more. But then one of the early ones I remember was ironically a true crime podcast. It was at Serial in like 2013, I think. Everybody was going on about it, so I listened to it. I was like, all right. It's the only true crime I've listened to.
That's I heard podcast ads for true crime on the radio, I think. That's what I was
The
like.
radio is promoting podcasts.
Well, the radio isn't. They're getting paid to, and yeah, there's true crime podcasts on the radio.
but some radio
Paid to
stations
promote 30
even have
miles.
podcasts for their,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, you know how like they have a morning show or whatever. If you miss the morning show, a lot of them will have a podcast that you can then go
Oh.
listen to their morning
That's
show
just
or
a-
whatever.
That makes sense.
Well, I think all guys listen to Joe Rogan
Oh.
these days.
So I think we talked about Joe Rogan, but
So
you know
annoying.
the history thing I was going to touch on was he talks about you just saying history, and I was going to jump in. Like I, for some reason, love learning about random information from back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where that joke comes from. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's like
The Roman Empire.
the Roman Empire thing.
I've seen, I never
Did
knew
you
what was
ask your
going on.
husband about it?
I didn't know what was going on. Everyone's like posting my Roman Empire is on Instagram and stuff, and I just didn't know what was going
Okay, so that
on.
was
My
after.
Roman Empire. What is this one?
It was
don't-
after. So that's
Okay.
basically when the challenge came out about
Yeah.
the Roman Empire, the female would ask the male about like, hey, how many times a day do you think about the Roman Empire?
I don't get it.
That's the point. Like girls are like mind blown by like, why would anybody think about the Roman Empire? So then the husband or whoever the male would be like, oh, like, why do you ask?
Multiple times
Why
a
do you
day.
ask me that? That's such a weird question. Are you talking to someone?
Yeah, I don't know where it came from. But
It was just I think it was a random question like, oh, you'd be baffled by how many times a day your husband thinks about the Roman Empire. You should do it. You should do it, unless you've seen it by now. But, and then after that came the meme of like, my Roman Empire is like the thing you think about all day.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, women were doing like whatever they think about all day. But yeah, it's funny. Cause like when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, but yeah, a few times a week.
yeah,
You think about the Roman
I don't know, it
Empire a
just
few
comes
times
up
a week?
randomly in like conversation.
it was an important civilization.
You think about like how
I haven't thought about it since like grade 8 social
Yeah,
studies.
that's the funny part. That's the challenge. is literally
So in
that.
grade 8 social studies, I did a project on the Roman roads. So basically every day I drive, I think about it because I always remember that project. Like I went and I built like a little section of a Roman road. It was like a model section for my project.
Oh,
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
well,
But I also did in my first degree, I did English and history. So read lots of plays and literature and studied tons of
you're a
history.
very educated man.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I'm for me, it was just like the swords and the fighting and stuff. I used to draw
all that
like
stuff is
that
great.
stuff when I was
Yeah.
younger.
But every night I have a bookshelf in my room and I divide them by categories. And I have a ancient Greece and
Oh.
Roman section. So literally every
Every
night
day.
before I go to bed, I see like Caesar, the name of Rome, and then like the Iliad, Odyssey, all that stuff. So I see it every day. So I would say I think of the Roman Empire every day.
That's crazy.
Huh.
Reminders every day.
Yep.
What's your Roman Empire?
I don't know. Like something you think about every day?
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
were saying.
Work?
Fair enough. Yeah, me too. But
Her own personal empire.
My dog?
now every day you think about work and be like, wow, this is what it's like to build an empire.
How long have you been doing that at the local space?
6 years.
And your first store was Langley or Chilliwack?
Langley.
I spent a good amount of time in Chilliwack. I always see.
Yeah, Chilliwack opened in 2020.
Okay. I think
Right
I have a
in the
mug
middle
from
of
that
it.
store, actually. Somebody got it for me. It says the man, the myth, the legend.
Oh, yeah.
Is that your
Yeah.
souvenir store? Okay.
hmm
Well, there you go. And now we're doing a podcast
Well,
together.
there we go.
3.5 years later.
Have you ever been inside my store?
Yeah, the Langley one, not the other one. That's where I literally spent
Oh.
all of my downtown dollars.
Why'd you have downtown dollar? Oh, from your
Because I
podcast?
was sponsored by Discover Downtown. Discover Downtown Langley. Go check it out.
Segways.
No, yeah, when we had them, I did they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna give you some downtown dollars for, to like share with you because you're sponsoring promoting the
Mm.
community. And I was just like, okay, let me do like an ad for this. And then I was like,
So
did a little bit.
that was your ad?
That was my ad, yeah.
Downtown Langley. Go check them out.
Go for a date night. They have a lot of stuff down there. Anyway,
Yeah, Stevens is there now. And the
yeah, I
pie
haven't been there
hole.
yet. I've been to Pie Hole like 3 times.
Stevens
I went to
has the
Stevens.
Gabby's hot dog on their menu.
No way.
Yeah.
I went
That's
to,
smart.
well, we always called it Grabbies back in the day, but I only went there twice. And
They
it was
grabbed you?
very,
The men there.
well, I
Well,
mean,
and the Cougars.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so that was my experience.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
there was this,
I thought you meant the men grabbed you. I was like,
There
was
Grabbies,
lots of
I don't know if
cougars
that
there.
happens.
I mean, I've been hit on by a good amount of men in my life, but Grabbies is what we always called Gabbies. But there was this one time I went, and there was a woman in line behind us, and I was with my friends and a bunch of girls, and this woman kept trying to get in the conversation, like in a very awkward kind of way. I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, she's very aggressive, and then she got into the club and immediately like attacked a guy on the dance floor, and within half an hour she had left with him. It was so aggressive and so fast. It was unbelievable to watch. Really.
Like a cougar.
Oh yeah, like she was.
That place was full of cougars.
It was
Like,
a
that was
very
the it
successful
place.
hunt. Let's put it that way.
She pounced.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about Gabbies. I used to call. No, I didn't call it that. I heard people call it. First, they call it Scabbies.
Yeah.
It's just,
Okay,
yeah.
Scabbies, Grabbies.
Yeah.
Gabbies. Yeah.
Is it still
Not the
there?
Grabbies. No, it's been long
Like they
gone.
tore it down.
Okay.
The reason I want to talk about Gabbies is because now there's a new club, or not club, but it's like an old pub that they've kind of converted into like a country cabaret called Rusty's in Cloverdale.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have one of the people on from there, but apparently it's bumping. It's a country get up, right?
Kind of like a Roosters meets the south side of the highway.
Yeah, exactly. But smaller apparently. But still busy.
Rusty's isn't that small.
I don't know. I think they have a capacity though because it's like a
Oh, because
restaurant.
it's more of a pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, than it
Oh,
is
and
like
then
a
it gets
dance
insanely
floor.
loud and turns into a club as the evening goes on.
Till 1, yeah. Gabby's was open till 2, I think. But yeah, Gabby's was a spot to go to. I mean,
My first condo I ever bought was across the street.
Oh yeah.
above the stores.
No, like Varsity.
That's not across the
Yes,
street.
it
It's
is.
like down the street.
Okay, it's like a 3-minute walk.
It's like a 3-minute run. It's not a 3-minute walk.
Gabby's was at 202 in Fraser Highway. Varsity was at 201 in Fraser Highway. It was literally 1 block.
3-minute run. That's a long block because if you think about it, that's pretty far. Is it a 1-bed? 2-bed?
Was it a 1
Studio?
bed? Yeah. It was
Oh.
like had like walls, like
Oh,
sliding
yeah.
walls to make like
Oh,
a
yeah,
bedroom.
yeah.
It was like
Oh, okay.
407 square feet.
Oh, nice.
Dang.
Bought that thing for $120,000.
What year?
2012 is when I bought that.
What'd you make on it? Speaking of real
I
estate.
sold it for $325.
Yeah, those are selling for like
That's a good
4 or
deal.
something right now. Not a big difference, actually, if you sold that.
Yeah,
recently.
I sold it in 2018.
Yeah. Yeah, studios are hard to move sometimes.
We did it back. We sold my condo and then we sold our house in 2018 and then we couldn't get a house. because we were getting outbid on everything. So we should have sold the house and then moved into the condo just in case, so that we would at least have a backup plan, but we did it the wrong way. So it came down. I didn't even see our house before we bought it.
Oh,
like my husband went to it. I was in Ireland and I was like, I want white cabinets. That was my rule. So that's how we got the house we're in now.
One thing that you can change.
Yeah.
Paint.
I don't know.
Paint,
Yeah, so-
spray, like done. That's funny.
Well, great.
Yeah, no, it's you got in a good time. Say
Mhm.
that. Good. That area is going to be crazy busy though with the SkyTrain and all that. And then Gabby's is gone. Gabby's is gone.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
They still say that they're going to relocate one day.
Should I break it down here? Okay, I'm going to talk about it because I do know something about this. I know for a fact that Gabby's is not coming back. The guy that cuts my hair, I'm not going to say who, heard from a guy
Oh
who
my
was cutting
God.
his hair.
Do you get your hair cut like on Fraser Highway?
No, actually, it's not there. But like through the grapevine of people, the conversation with like one of the partners and owners was overheard, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, probably not happening." It was kind of like they might do something else, maybe not call it Gabby's, but old Gabby's is gone, right?
My mom went to that Gabby's.
That's cool.
Wow.
I remember her being like, "Is there still carpet on the floor?" I was like, "There sure is."
Probably been changed though.
I don't know. I remember back in the
good-
day when like girls would always wear flats. I just remember it would like stick to the floor as you were walking.
Oh,
It was nasty.
A good dive bar is hard to come by these days.
hmm
Everything's getting too sterile and like.
maybe Rusty's might be a.
But didn't they just renovate it? It's
I
not
don't know.
really a
Did they?
dive bar, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's always been pretty decent inside. An old country-esque pub. It's
Yeah, for
always
some
been a
reason-
country pub.
A signal for like a good bar or a sign that it's an interesting place is lots of stairs. Gabby's had that. Jimmy Licks or whatever it was called before that, Vanilla Room. The one that,
Oh.
do you know about
Yeah.
that?
I remember, like, I was never a clubber. I just occasionally went to these places when I was dragged. But yeah, I never went to Vanilla Room. But I always heard it was like up the stairs, right?
Yeah, huge stairs.
The amount of
What
girls
it-
that fell
yeah,
down those
that's what I was
stairs
about
in
to say.
their
A bunch
heels.
of drunk girls in
Yeah.
heels. That must have been a disaster.
And they were steep too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like a lot
It was
of.
like above like a mechanic shop.
It was over by like Tom Lee Music in that area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shout out
the-
Tom Lee.
You go there a lot? Oh,
Well,
you
I
just
used
set
to.
up?
I mean, I used to take drum lessons there, but I
Hmm.
played piano my whole
I didn't
life
know
as
that
well.
they did lessons.
yeah.
Yeah, there was a drum room in the back. That was where I started taking drum lessons, like, probably in the 90s.
I got my piano from there way back
Yeah.
in the day when I was a kid.
Yeah, I bought my first guitar there as well. Good place.
You still play instruments?
Not well.
I don't at all.
Like I could still play Mary Had a Little Lamb probably.
That's a
but
cool
like-
skill.
Yeah.
I wish
I
could
can
do
still
that.
read music and stuff.
Oh.
So I could figure it out, but
Yeah, but like
I
the
played for like 17 years. I hope I can remember how to read. Yeah.
piano.
Yeah. I
Did-
can't play.
Did you do Royal Conservatory?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
hmm
Yeah. That wasn't a
It
fun.
was a little
yeah.
too strict for me. And then
Yeah.
I transitioned to someone that let me play like Disney music and stuff. That was way more
That would have been
enjoy-
way more beneficial. Like,
And that was way more enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
you had fun playing. You knew the songs you were playing. And because I was also in band
Oh, yeah.
in high school and stuff.
yeah, me too.
And I played percussion and clarinet and flute. And
Wow.
it just
okay.
wasn't as enjoyable as it was to play fun songs.
Yeah. Well, I didn't mind band, but like, so my introduction to piano was this. My mom made us all of us do piano. There's 4 of us. And I had 2 older sisters, and I didn't ever want to play the piano. But there was a conversation. I think I was in grade 1. She goes, "Dan, do you want to learn to play the piano?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Too bad." And then I was dragged kicking and screaming through it until I was in grade 10. And I had to get my grade 8 Royal Conservatoire, which apparently is an accomplishment. And then I had to do 2 years of music theory as well. It wasn't fun.
I will say it helped me when I was in middle school going into band because I was more familiar with reading music than most
Yeah.
people. But then,
But afterward, although ironically, I just applied for a position with like a music editing company, like Drumeo.
What's that?
They do online lessons. It's like simple ways to teach music essentially, but it's all like video based. So,
you're going back to video editing?
well, we'll see. Like I just started this, so
Okay.
we gotta fill the gaps a little bit. But it would be ironic if that music degree got me a job because I did put it on the resume that I have all this music
Oh, for
training.
sure it will.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not going to just bring anybody on that knows how to play
Yeah.
music.
I figured, I could put it on the resume and then they could be disappointed later.
That's true. And they
Sure.
probably won't.
I didn't say I was good at it.
Probably won't fire you because that's
Like, did
where
you not
we're
have to
at.
put the year you graduated?
No, I have my grade 8 Royal Conservatory. I have 2 years of music theory. I got like 5 years of drums and guitar. So, you know.
You didn't put from like 2013 to present?
Good Lord, I think the last time I played the piano was probably 2004.
Yeah,
when I
I'm like
finished.
2006.
Yeah. As soon as I finish, I'm done.
I feel like it'll come in handy somewhere.
Yeah.
I stopped in grade 11. I didn't even do grade 12. I stopped in grade 11 because it was on the same day I had baseball. Baseball was more important than piano.
I'm curious to see how like music enhances your learning skills, though. Your IQ, EQ.
Well, there's all those studies on classical music. It's supposed to promote higher brain function.
To listen to, right?
Yeah.
But like, what about playing? Or what about
I don't
reading?
know. I mean, I actually love classical music now, but as a kid, you don't have a point of reference for it. So I was like, well, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I like the playing fun songs. That's what I see too in the States when they play band. It's not like classical band songs. It's like hip hop songs.
Well, a lot of the
that?
band in the
that's-
States is
yeah.
like jazz band, which I think
Jazz
are more enjoyable.
Jazz is cool, though.
Yeah. I was not in jazz band. I was just in regular band. We got to play like My Sharona. That was
Oh,
fun.
yeah. Okay.
You mean 9 Coronas?
Sure. Same.
Let's talk about the studio. How about that?
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go back to that. Talk about like your services, because I know when we were speaking before, you were talking about like you don't want to just be, a studio. You want to do something different. You guys are already like ahead of the curve here because there's nowhere where I've seen that have the rates that you have with the production quality and everything that's included. But on top of that, you wanted to add like a management side to like actually help people who are here.
Yeah. I mean, that's the goal, right? Is like to be a full in-house podcast production. So you come here and I can help you build out what kind of package you're looking for. Like, what are you looking to do with the podcast? If you're just looking for content and you want to do your own editing on the side, that's fine. We have an hourly rate for the studio. But if you want to really do a podcast, then you can break it down to like clips and then the shorter form content for the clips channels. And then obviously there's editing for your long form. Yeah. And all that stuff. So that's the idea. And then we do thumbnails and clips and yeah. It'd be cool to get into like potentially finding sponsors for people as well. Was that your idea?
I don't know. Maybe
I feel like we talked about that.
We did talk about it, but I thought you were the one who was like,
oh, maybe it wasn't.
It was because it was because we had that issue where it's like a cost issue, where it's like, okay, well, we want this to be producing. Well, what if I can find a way where it doesn't cost you anything?
Yeah, and then find like local companies that are kind of related, and they have most companies will have some sort of marketing budget, and then kind of shoehorn them into that.
For sure, yeah, and then that's the biggest. I mean, so there are sites like that where you can just put random ads in, but what I find is you see people doing this very picky with what you're promoting.
Yeah,
like nobody's watching your podcast about murders and wanting to, advertise a health drink, right? So if you can tie them in.
Like Reliable Gun in Vancouver or something like that. Murder with My Mother. Sponsored by Reliable Gun.
Which I don't even know what Reliable.
Oh, they're a gun shop.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah, you could do that.
Are they actually sponsored by them?
No, but it would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because then you got, everyone at their peak fear, and now you sell them, protection equipment, hunting equipment, used for protection. Sometimes. Never. Yeah, no, because that's genius. That's, sometimes, and especially now with advertisers, I think that they're better off going to more niche, local, small, entry point advertising like this. Like what's it costing them? Basically nothing.
Yeah. And the cool thing with it is you get all your analytics off of YouTube, and I think Spotify does analytics as well. So you can really start to pinpoint where your market is, right? So if you're in Vancouver, but you have a bigger audience in India or something like that, then you can potentially, it might be more beneficial to approach companies in India where they'll actually see more return on their
you have any examples of something like that currently?
I don't currently have an example of one that I've negotiated, but there is one that I'm looking at. It's a product that's related to one of the shows that I do. They're in Victoria, so they'll be a local company.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Easy shipping.
Yeah. They're in coffee shops and everything too. So, but just sort of, I saw the brand the other day and I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. It would fit with the brand that is on here.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Also, right, consulting on the fact that, people, if they have a business where they can promote their own products.
Yeah.
Like Hardbite. Find yours at the local space. Something like that.
Well, is this your product?
It's
no.
I told you to bring this. Don't you have this at the local space though?
We're in talks with them to get them in the store for our gift boxes.
Find this at the local space soon.
He literally texted me at like 12:15 being like, you should bring snacks from the store. I'm like, I'm having a shower at my house.
Bring something.
I was on the way to record you guys, and he called me, and then we decided I would come on and talk about it.
Aren't things better when you do them spur of the moment?
I schedule when I shave my legs in my calendar. I don't like spur of the moment anything.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's me then.
So, can you explain that one? You shave your legs and you do your scheduling at the same time?
No, like in my calendar, it tells me what days I shave my legs.
Sorry.
It tells me what days I wash my hair.
You know, has a checklist. Yeah, I saw that.
No, it's just in my calendar. So I just remember to do things. Because I really like shaving my legs on days that I clean the sheets.
Oh.
Because
that makes sense, actually.
It feels nice on your legs when you have clean sheets.
I got you. Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't shave my legs, but if I decide to.
But I can relate with the feeling.
The thought, though. The thought is good.
But like clean sheets, definitely, you know, I get that for sure. If I was going to shave my legs, I would do it before.
Doesn't it make you run faster in like sports, I thought? Don't swimmers and stuff like shave their legs?
Aerodynamics.
But speaking of hair, I saw this video today where it said hair is actually a protective layer for mosquitoes. So summertime.
That makes sense.
You should definitely
not shave your legs.
Yeah.
Have hairy legs for the summer. No mosquitoes.
Have hairy legs.
Yeah, well, think about it, because like
I have hairy legs, but the mosquitoes still get through.
Okay, they're not hairy enough because like the video.
Well, how do I get them hairier?
I don't know.
Grow a bear skin?
You gotta shave apparently, because that'll make them grow more. Apparently, there's this video of his mosquito that's like tangled up, and it looked like arm hair, and it couldn't like get in because it's like out here.
So you would need to have like your beard.
Yeah. Unless they get stuck in there, then you're double screwed. Imagine like. Just started.
How did this video come up for you?
I don't know. Where did it came up? It was on.
This is the YouTube algorithm taking over, right?
No, it's probably one of those dude pages. You know, it's like
no, I don't know dude pages.
Heck yeah pages.
Oh yeah.
What are heck yeah pages?
Another guy thing.
Do you remember? What was it? The Chive, I think.
Oh yeah.
That was like the first kind of one that I remember.
Chive on,
yeah. That was a very exclusively male site.
Right. At that time, I was still in high school. It was a little bit like older for me, I think.
Okay.
When did you graduate?
2012.
Mm.
We were in
so young,
so naive.
When did you graduate?
2006.
Oh, you're only a year older than me.
I've graduated many times since high school.
But like high school graduation.
Yeah, you graduated your piano thing, right?
Yeah.
And his master's
bunch of universities
degree.
As well. Yeah.
I almost graduated university. Then I said no.
What you go to university
for a business degree.
Oh, yeah. I also dropped out.
Yeah.
I went to school for business.
Yes. I don't feel as bad now.
Well, they made me drop out.
Who did?
Well, they wouldn't give me student loans because I owned a condo. Because it was cheaper than paying rent. Yeah, I know. So you can't get student loans if you own property. I learned that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh, yeah. Let's try this. Because it's here and it's going to be at the local space. So this is Hardbite. Hardbite is a local, not sponsor of this video, but it's black truffle.
You're showing it to the laptop, like the laptop is recording.
I'm like thinking what I'm talking about. It's not even here. I was pretending to read a script, but I'm not. Hardbite, a local, not sponsor of this video. It's black truffle sea salt. So let's have a taste.
Say bougie.
Huh?
Bougie?
Yeah. No, I like the yam ones or the yam chips. Those are good.
Yeah. I like any kind of chips. I don't have a sweet tooth. I'm a savory guy.
Me too.
So these are like kryptonite.
I like itchy bag.
Itchy bag? There's this, I think it's casita or la casita or something like that.
Those are good.
Those chips are.
Those are like the tortilla chips.
Yeah. I'll eat a whole bag of those in one sitting.
Talk about that. Those are like the thinnest, best tasting tortilla chips. They suck for dipping, so you have to be careful.
But if you get the flavored ones, you don't even need dip.
Flavored ones?
There's like salsa flavored chips and stuff.
Yeah.
But then,
dude,
you won't get
they're delicious
salsa chunks in your mouth.
I mean, you still can do that.
You got to use a spoon, maybe. These are pretty good.
They don't taste too mushroomy for you?
No. I would actually probably put this in like a sandwich. I'm a big like chips and sandwich.
Chips in a sandwich?
I love chips.
I put chips in my egg salad sandwiches. I always have since I was a kid.
What chip?
Usually sour cream and onion chips.
Do they get soggy?
No, you do it like right before you eat it.
Fresh.
Yeah. I don't know. All my family's always done that. It might be an Irish thing, but.
Feels like my parents did that too, like on hot dogs or something like that.
Yeah, hamburgers too.
Yeah. Hamburgers, I do hickory sticks.
That sounds messy.
Nope.
But there's so many of them, they'll fall out.
What you do is you put bun, ketchup, mayo, mustard, whatever you put on your bun or whatever. Then you use the sauce to hold the hickory sticks in place. So it's like sprinkled on top, put the patty on top, make sure you squish it in, right? So that way it's even more secured. And then you do whatever you're doing on the other side.
Have you ever had the hickory stick hot dog from Camp Beer?
Oh, no, I haven't.
It is delicious. It's like a beef dip hot dog with hickory sticks on it, but then you also get the little 𝐿𝐥 on the side.
I think we need to get Camp Beer as a sponsor because they come up almost every episode.
Yeah, they do.
Frequently.
Camp Beer, if you're watching this, which you're probably not, but we're going to send you this clip anyways.
Because you worked there, right? That's what you're saying last week?
No, I was just a frequent customer.
She's a frequent customer at all local breweries.
I'm sure we can convince like Kevin and Sam to come on here. You probably don't want the realtor to come on here.
I don't care. I honestly was going to, I've been trying to get a hold of them for Haven, for Stevens, but well, they're busy.
Who are you?
Well, I know the guy
messaging?
who owns Stevens.
Isn't it a partnership?
It's
Matt Kane. He works here.
there's a lot of people involved in it. The Roshinskis also own it.
Yeah.
Because the like managing
That name sounds
partner
familiar.
is what's her face? Roshinsky. She also makes jewelry that I sell.
Mm.
But she's like the on the floor owner. There's
Oh,
like a
the
lot of
face.
there's a
no,
lot of
yeah.
owners of that place.
Anybody local. I mean, like, that's the thing. We kind of have to figure out where, people are coming from with this, but anybody local, we'd love to have them on. Talk about their business. Give us some free tasters. Yeah. That's not expensive to buy. We'll,
I was telling Dan before we started, if you'd let me know in advance, I could have brought bear sausage.
Cool.
It's delicious.
I don't know. I'm sure I could eat that, but I just don't know how I'd feel about it.
Why not?
sausage is apparently the easiest thing to eat with bear because it's mixed with herbs and spices.
It's not gamey. I don't like game when meat is gamey.
Don't get them started on gamey.
I also don't like lamb because of that.
No?
A lot of lamb I find a
I
little
don't
gamey.
like, I don't like lamb either.
Yeah.
It's funny enough.
It's my
lamb
husband's
is-
favorite thing to eat.
Funny enough,
love
lamb
lamb.
is not game. It's bred, right? For
The exact
captivity.
opposite of game, yeah.
Yeah.
But it has a taste to it.
So it's a taste that is not.
Yeah, but what do you want it to taste like? Do
Not.
you want it to
I
taste like
don't-
beef?
I don't like greasy tasting meat. Does that make sense? Because I find lamb quite greasy tasting.
So you
Okay.
don't like dark meat and chicken. Or
I love
turkey?
dark meat.
No, he said duck meat.
No, dark.
He said
Oh,
dark. No,
I don't like.
I
Dark.
heard duck meat. You don't like duck?
No, I would eat just when I go to KFC. I say dark meat only.
Guys, I cooked duck the other week. I shot it that evening. I went home and I cooked it. It was like eating steak.
I like duck.
Mm.
Unbelievable.
I don't
Yeah,
find
no.
duck gamey.
Okay.
I like duck.
Does it
I
taste
make
like chicken.
yeah, or
Mm.
it tastes like dark meat chicken.
I thought,
or-
yeah, this
Maybe
was
that's
a,
why I don't like it.
it was a widgeon. Widgeon is really good.
What is that?
It's just a type
Sounds
of
like
duck.
something
There's
from
like
Harry
mallards.
Potter.
Mallards is the one with the green head
Yeah.
that everybody knows.
The female one is the widgeon.
No, the female's there's just a hen, mallard hen, and
Mm.
a widgeon is a type of duck.
I thought it'd be like a mixed breed pigeon or something like that.
No, no, and there's like teals and all sorts of all these other kinds. But yeah, the widgeon was delicious. I was like eating a steak.
Hmm.
It's amazing. A very tiny steak, but
Do you like it deer and stuff too?
I love venison.
What about the new disease that all the deer are getting?
Oh, chronic
What?
wasting disease?
Yeah.
Well, that's from farm deer, though.
No, on the news on Monday, they said they found someone, one of
Yeah.
the deer out in the wild had one, and they're
No, I
worried
know,
that
but
it's
it's
gonna.
like so. It comes from deer. Chronic wasting disease comes from deer that are kept close together.
Mhm.
It's like humans generate diseases
It's
when
like
they live
farmed
too
fish.
closely together. Yeah. So that's where that one comes from. But it's
Mm.
like these deer escape or whatever, and then they breed with other populations, and it spreads into the wild. But yeah, it's been a problem in certain areas of the province.
Mm.
But apparently, it doesn't affect humans if you eat the meat.
Are you sure it's not like a?
They said they don't know,
Yeah.
but who's gonna test it?
You know, roll the dice, right? Like,
We're gonna find out.
you got one deer tag. Well, two if it's a whitetail, but yeah.
We're gonna find out. It's
Sure,
Saying
people in
bat-
Penticton would love for deer hunters to come out there.
yeah, but you can't shoot them in the town.
I know, but it's
And
really
apparently,
funny.
it's like
Everyone hates deer in
Oh, yeah,
Penticton. I've
yeah.
never known for people
Yeah.
to hate deer so much until I went to that town. And it's like our friend's house. It has like this big green, I don't know, cedars.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that looks cool. The way, and they're like, no, that's because the deer eat the bottom half of our trees. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you like trimmed it that way.
Well, that's another discussion, like deer management, right?
don't they like didn't they bring like a bunch of wolves in for that?
That was down in Yellowstone.
They brought in wolves,
Mhm.
and now the wolves are a problem.
I don't know. I haven't followed it that
Oh.
closely. I mean, I think the tourists are the problem in Yellowstone.
Will they go
I
up
w-
to animals?
Yeah, I always get those videos in my feed of the tourists trying to pet a bison and the bison like headbutts it. I don't feel sorry for them. I kind of cheer for the animal.
common sense thing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Podcast has really gone off.
That's. I mean, I don't know much about hunting. That's why I was like, I don't. I've thought about going. I used to watch, like the Meat Eater podcast, the show on Netflix.
Mhm.
That was my going to bed show until
Yeah.
we finished it.
Great show.
So good. Just like the vibe is so chill, and
Yeah.
they shoot something, and it's like, we're gonna eat it and show you how we eat it and cook
Yeah.
it. And then I'm like,
I use
wow,
his cookbook, and it's
now
phenomenal.
I'm hungry before bed.
Yeah.
So that's the downfall.
Yeah.
Similar to murder, I guess, but I mean, you're not.
I don't want to eat the bodies after they've been murdered.
Exactly. So not.
You would if they tasted this good.
I don't know. Like, I would never be vegan or anything, but I don't want to kill my own.
Yeah, I mean,
meat.
that's fine. A lot of people don't. Right?
Yeah,
And
I don't.
historically, only certain people did it.
Yeah.
They brought it home and shared it.
Psychopaths. Like, I want to kill something and eat it.
Need to kill something to eat it.
That's true.
Speaking of that, I've been reading, well, we'll tie it back to Joe Rogan. He's talked about that book, Empire of the Summer Moon, about the Comanche Empire in Texas. That's
Natives?
Yeah, Native Americans, or Indians as they're allowed to be called.
No. Are they?
Yeah.
You can't say that. They're not from
The
India.
book is to call them Indians all the way through.
Indigenous people.
No.
That's what we would call them in
Can't
Canada.
say that either.
What do we call them now?
Here we call.
No.
You
Has
say
anyone
indigenous people.
Has anyone ever asked them what they want to be called? Because I don't feel
I don't know.
I don't feel like we did.
I don't know.
I feel like we should cut out this part.
The
Oh,
Comanches. We started talking about the Comanches. That's what they're called. But there was another tribe. I think it was Apaches.
I recognize that.
No, the Kk'awhs.
Okay.
They were cannibals, and they hated the Comanches, so that when they killed Comanches, they would eat parts of them. Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah. It's
Where were they from? This is all in the States.
all like Texas, like the Plains Indians.
Probably because they didn't have access to, different things to eat at certain times of the year.
I don't know how that tradition started. It's really all about the Comanches, but they talk about all their enemies and stuff like that. But that was another one that I learned. I ordered that book years ago because I heard them talking about it on Joe Rogan. He had the author on. And then I finally got around to reading it this week, and it's brutal and it's fascinating, but yeah, it's really well written, very fair to both sides. So I highly recommend it.
So it tells both sides of the story to some degree.
Yeah, like it talks about, the native perspective on like what their world was like before the settlers and the Spanish and the Anglos.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because that's missed.
Yeah,
Right.
hugely. But then it also brings in, the colonial perspective. Like this is what they were dealing with and how brutal the warfare was and how brutal life was out there at the time.
When people were coming,
This is like the
Europeans were coming.
1830s and 40s and 50s.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there wasn't really anything documented for like the natives of the Americas. That's what I know more about towards like South America, like the Peruvian, like the Ecuador like natives.
Well, those people had way more advanced civilization than the Comanches.
Right. Yeah. They had buildings and stuff like that. They weren't like just living in huts.
Well, Comanches, they would basically, they're nomads. They'd go, they had this huge range of like 800 plus miles. They could just be anywhere.
Right.
Wild. Fascinating stuff.
So that was their whole home, the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
No wonder in Texas they don't want you stepping on their territory.
Yeah. Yeah. But then you learn about why Texas is the way that it was, right? Because it was formed because of the Spanish were there, and then it kind of got turned over to the Mexicans, and then the Comanches were fighting all of them. So it was this constant battle for like 200 years. But then the Americans started expanding west. So they were kind of caught in this crazy dynamic of like Spanish from the south and then the Americans from the east. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's always cool. You're probably like, nah.
History. Well, I grew up with the John Wayne films and all that stuff. So I've always been into
Cowboys
the West.
and Indians.
Yeah, the Wild West and all that. But it's insanely brutal.
How come Texas and stuff? Why do they call it the Wild West? It's not West.
Well, it was when they were
compared to
the
Europe.
Americans, when the Americans were all on the eastern seaboard, right? The original 13 colonies were all on the east.
I always was confused
So
by
it
the
was out
Midwest
west, right?
and all that. And I was like, but it's not West. It's
all a matter of perspective, right?
Technically, it's not Middle East
Yeah.
either. It's just like East.
Gotcha.
East of California.
Yeah, like the Middle East. Like, no, not the Middle East. I'm talking about like East India. Like
What?
that is India.
No, East India is like Indonesia.
Yeah, but they call. I remember.
Wait, I'm thinking of the East India Trading Company.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so
but
that's
then
like
it's
the Dutch
That wasn't
in-
even there. That was east. Well, that was east of India. Sure. But when it's like,
I think it was
Indians.
a catch-all term.
where I remember, growing up, people would call Indians East Indian,
Yeah.
and it's like
Because I
no.
think they were saying not Indians that live here in Canada, people east of.
Mhm.
Right, makes sense. But that's actually like that. They're Indian, not East Indian.
Okay.
I don't know how we ended up here, but I did. So
Podcasts.
yes,
These chips are great, by the way.
yeah.
Hard.
See, and I think it's a better option too because you're not like, oh, let me eat some.
What is special about them? They're done
Chicken
in
wings.
avocado oil.
No, yeah.
It says cooked in 100%
Gives
olive oil.
handcrafted
But
chips.
this one, because it gives you that flavor. But there's different like
Made in
styles.
Canada.
They're made in Surrey.
Surrey. Here we go.
I think
Did I
I'm
mention
like
Surrey on this
one.
podcast? Probably not.
Yeah, it's fine. We're local now. We're not Langley.
We're not just Langley.
in Langley,
Okay.
but we.
I
How
grew
about-
up in Langley, and then I moved to Surrey in my teenage years.
And now you live in
I'm very partial to
Abbotsford.
Langley. Yes.
So you just
Only because of the pricing.
Would you come back?
Heck yeah. I
Or-
love Langley.
Really?
Yeah, South Langley is probably one
You
of
should
my-
be on here then. You over here trying to leave.
If I could get a place in South Langley,
Oh, it's so
that's one of my favorite places in the
so
world.
nice.
Yeah.
Just like I was looking at a place like that. Just
How do we
like-
steal like 70 acres of land?
You want 70 acres?
Oh, it's a start.
Oh man, that just seems like a lot of upkeep. I got
Harrison-
artificial turf put in my backyard because I didn't want to deal with it.
Well, no, you just let it.
No,
you just let
I
it
want a
grow.
place where
You can have the cows chewing on the grass there.
So my first, earliest home was in Langley. We had on 64th and 232nd. We had 6 acres. So I grew up with cows and horses and all that stuff. So once you kind of have the space, the country in you,
I know that's why I don't like where I live now because I'm not used to neighbors being so
Yeah.
close to me.
Yeah.
Like you grew up in I grew up in Rosedale. You
great
don't.
place.
Yeah, it's a good.
I was just there yesterday.
Yeah, hunting.
No, I can't hunt in Rosedale unless it was ducks. But
Okay, well,
I feel like we're running out of steam here.
yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I think you have to leave too, right?
Well, my event starts at 3:30.
So you have to be there at 3.
No, like it's like a BNI, like all the BNI chapters, like networking event. Like it's from 3:30 to 6:30.
Oh, so you don't want to go to that?
No, I'm going to it.
Oh,
We got 20 minutes.
But I don't have to be there right at 3:30 is what
right. You
I'm
want to
saying.
be fashionably late.
And
Okay.
I'm usually late.
You want to be there right before it ends.
Like you're supposed to get to BNI at 6:45.
What is BNI?
It's like a business networking group. I usually show up at 7. The other day I showed up at like 6:55 and everyone said I was early.
Not when it starts at 3:30 though, right?
No, not today. Today is just like an afternoon.
Isn't that like the whole, what's it called?
referral networking?
Oh, that. Okay, never mind. Not what I thought. I know some people that are in that.
Yeah, they're only allowed one
Yeah,
person
one person per thing. Yeah.
So realtors, mortgage brokers, those seats always go first.
Yeah, lots of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Annoying.
Yeah.
Weren't you trying to get on those kind of things?
I was talking to someone about that. I know somebody who was on, has a group like that. That's how I met him actually, because he was referred to me from someone else about real estate stuff. And then eventually we just had him on. He was a builder.
Right.
I still have to go see his projects to film some stuff there. But then there was, who was I talking to? He can't technically use another realtor. That's his unwritten rule, unspoken rule,
I would never
blood
use
oath.
my realtor in the group.
the blood oath.
Ever.
They still heard that.
No, you're not putting that on there. But no, he won't listen to this anyways. But like
We'll start the
you
episode
don't
with
have
that
to.
clip. I would never use my realtor in the group.
But like you don't have to use the people in the group.
No.
It's the people that you have relationships with, and like
For sure.
definitely people in the
Yeah.
group
You
that I
kinda
have
gotta go-
relationships with, and some I would not talk to.
Yeah. It's unfair to be like, hey, you have to use this person. But you have you definitely have if you don't use them, you have some sort of what's it called? Homework to be like, hey, I got to refer one person to them per month or something like that. Likewise.
Not
back and
each
forth.
person. They just like to see that you've done a referral within the group. At
Who's
least
they?
one, like BNI. Like the
Like-
BNI is like an international organization. There's like over
So it's like
a million
cult.
people. I know a lot of people say that. I actually really like it, but I think it's because I like my group.
I mean, most cult members like their cult.
Yeah, but I don't like everyone in it. But like, as long as you're referring to each other, and it's easy because if
Can you get kicked out if you're not referring?
if you're not referring, but you know how
Mm.
easy it is when like the barley merchant's in it.
That's your group. That's in your group.
Yeah.
Oh, I know who's the person in that group. Tim told me about that. That's
Oh
funny.
yeah, me and Tim got in an argument with that guy
Oh, really?
in a group chat with everyone watching.
What was it about? This podcast?
No, about how he was sexist.
Oh.
Hmm.
Hmm. Well. If you're
Not much coming
watching-
back from that accusation,
Yeah.
is there?
Cancelled. Speaking of cults and BNI, I was I don't know why this morning I was like, thinking about somebody I was talking to, and they're
Oh, I'll invite Dan.
Freemasons,
Oh, yeah.
which is pretty much the same thing, I'd say.
And actually, someone in my BNI group is a free.
I know somebody
Yeah,
else.
there's quite a lot of them.
Yeah, but
And
I never really heard about it. I just
Yeah.
People think
saw
it's
the people with the red hats, and I never knew
Yeah,
what
like
they really
KKK.
were
They
They wear
for.
red hats.
Yeah,
No, they don't. Sometimes.
I've only ever seen the pin.
Yeah, just like at their like official like traditional event or whatever, and their photos on the wall and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
They have these like weird, like
I'd see that
square
more
red
of like
hats.
a society, like a group, club, men's group.
Yeah, but when
Yeah.
he died, I was like, they all really came together around
they're there.
his
They're the
family and like
brotherhood.
supported like his wife and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, oh, it's very.
And people think like, I mean, there's definitely been, I think, instances about, negative things going on. But for the most part, it's like an extended family.
Great.
Yeah. Where were we going with this? Freemasons and
I don't know.
society?
I feel it.
Extended families. I don't really know.
Yeah. Well,
This podcast studio is not a cult.
yeah. But it could be
Disclaimer.
if you wanted to.
I'd have to come up with like initiation rites and everything like that.
We have to do initiation in BNI.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
What does that
Run
What does
around.
that involve?
There's just like all these things, and then you have to say, I do. I don't even know what they are.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Because I don't really pay attention.
You
I'm
have
not
to,
a
like,
true
Shouldn't
BNI
you,
member.
if you're saying
I
things
just-
like I do, shouldn't you pay attention? It's usually some sort of a vow historically.
I will refer within the group. I will not gouge members in the group, like stand
You can
behind
gouge
your
other-
business or
other
whatever
people,
sort
right.
of thing. Yeah, you
Okay.
just have to say I do to a bunch of things.
You can't
Most of our
gouge-
meetings are online. It's only one day a month that's in person, so I only have to pay attention once a month.
I love
I'm
how
a
frequently
great
this has
member.
come up from you. It's like, I don't really pay attention. I don't really pay attention. I don't really pay attention.
You're just part of the whole thing. Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess let me know if you want to take any of that out, because you're gonna see them every month. If not, just tell them to come on the podcast and we can talk about it. But yeah, do you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Yeah.
Around today.
A lot
Yeah.
of history.
Where can people find you?
Speakeasy Podcasts.ca.
And on Instagram, you will have the username.
Do you at least have it reserved?
What, Instagram?
The username?
I have the website. Yeah.
No, but on Instagram, do you have your username reserved?
No, I haven't done that. I know. I look. I'm so bad with social media.
That's all you
I have
need.
avoided it my entire life, but I know I need to.
Website isn't even important.
I know I need
You
to.
think
Well, no,
so,
it is.
and
You
it
need to have a
is.
landing page, right? where
I
people
made
can
us a
see
landing
it.
page.
She went in on it.
Yeah.
I deleted my website for real estate because I'm like, who cares? They
You
want
know
to
that
care.
There's a Speakeasy podcast.
There's one in Australia. It has like 2 posts. I did look at it, but
No, it has more than that.
none of them seemed active.
Or 531 posts. What is it?
When was the last? The last post was a while ago, though.
No,
right?
they have an Insta story from an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Where are they though? Are
New
they in Canada?
podcast name coming soon.
No. Yeah.
Well, you could call it like Speakeasy Podcast Canada.
but he could call
something.
it the Speakeasy Podcast.
We'll figure it out one step at a time.
Speakeasy Podcasting,
Oh,
which is more
I said
plausible,
ting.
Bigfoot or aliens. That was their latest post.
That's a pretty cool graphic.
It's not me, but yeah.
No, but we'll tag you in it. And basically, yeah, you don't have to post
Mhm.
your stuff. Just ask the people who come in here and
To repost.
post those clips.
Yeah.
You can literally use anybody's footage. Like you got,
Yeah.
and it'll go viral if you pick the right one. And it's like, you're only posting the best of the best.
Yeah.
You're great. You're,
But is that not a conflict of interest? Like if I post somebody's stuff and then it gets better views on my channel than on theirs?
no, people would almost like you for that because
Really?
they'll be like, hey, here's the thing, or my experience anyway. And I see this in real estate. If there is a realtor that has a pop in social media and they're bringing on new agents and they can bring this agent's like, following up, people will go with that agent. Obviously, they're going to learn some things because they're going to grow their branding over some other team that is going to teach them maybe a little bit more and know, social media exposure. That's what I find. Like, that's where the future's going. That's what I see with like realtors, with teams. I see that with like brokerages, like offices,
Yeah.
right? If the office is very well followed and they have really good content, well, you'd want to get featured on there, right? So you're going to join that office. So same thing with this. If your social media is blowing up and this is like a new podcast, they're going to want you to post it on yours, tag them in it, and then people will get exposed in masses to that content and it'll be on their page because they're also going to get the views because you just collaborate. So it's going to pop up on their feed and your feed.
No, I was just thinking why they call it viral. I was reading today about the 𝐏𝐡𝐸s and how a lot of them got killed by disease. And I was like, oh, this is literally like how germs spread. And it's viral.
This is virality. Yeah. It's
It has occurred to me before.
you didn't think that's what it was from? But
No, I did know that, but
Sickness?
I was reading that this morning and then you were talking about it and you're like, this person gives it to that person, gives it to that.
I remember when the COVID first started, I was talking about like
I've never heard of that.
viral videos or whatever.
What COVID?
Yes.
Never heard of it.
And every time I'd say something about viral on COVID around like that time, it was just funny because I'm like, oh,
Cheap, easy.
COVID, viral. Yeah. So anyways,
Let's wrap this sucker up.
so they can find you there. You can find us here. If you have any questions.
Yeah, but the website you can go on, you can book a free consultation. Everything's going to be pretty streamlined. You can book your times. You can book your however many sessions you like. Pay online. It's going to be pretty good. So gives you a little breakdown of how it all works.
Cool. Packages and all that.
Yep.
Video formats like examples.
Yep.
Testimonials.
Yep.
We'll do one.
Great.
Welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast Studios. I'm Daniel Dejo, and I approve this message.
Thanks, Dan.
If you have any questions, comment down below or reach out to us personally at all our socials. They're probably down below. If not, look us up. If you're not already, subscribe because we make videos like this every single month. And we're on Spotify too. So follow us there and give us a review and stuff like that. So that's it.
Cool.
Right, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks.
It's been fun to be in front of the mic.
Yeah, well, I hope that we can feature you behind the scenes a bit more. That's what I'm hoping for.
Anytime.
So hopefully you need to get a mic back there and be like,
I do have a mic right there.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah, do it.
Okay.
We need that like random laugh popping in. Like,
check that from the back.
you need to give your customers some moral support sometimes.
I do on some shows. Some people like to have me on the back. I get invited on occasionally.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I think that's the funny part.
Veins and Beers. There was one time we started I think it's funny because they can't see me.
Yeah.
The guests can't see me, but then I start arguing with them. And then I got invited on. We had like a pretty serious discussion on like what relationship boundaries were. It was pretty good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. We could definitely do that.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, yeah. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.